Absolutely. Well, Ben, thank you so much for having me today. I know it's been a long time coming, so I appreciate the opportunity and sticking with me to work with the schedule to be here. So I really appreciate that. And like you said, we're two different companies, and that's absolutely fine because it's about the mutual admiration, the mutual work, and the partnerships that we build throughout this business. And I mean, shoot, I've been in this business for 8 years, and I think I've known you for 7.5 of those. So
Yes.
it's been an amazing journey during that time, and I really appreciate the opportunity and the continued conversations, mentorships, and the opportunities that we I feel like we keep presenting each other, and we kind of this business is vast, and the world is massive, and there's so many people moving here, and so many agents. I think there's over, if I remember the number correctly, I think it's somewhere about 65,000 agents in DFW alone. And I think we come across each other at least 2 or 3 times a year through either deals or showings or something like that. So it's pretty amazing to see that even with all of these different opportunities and everything, that we still get to uh you know you start seeing those, for lack of better words, and I'll take something from Mr. Keller himself. The cream rises to the top, right? And so you start seeing those agents that are constantly working and constantly rising and grinding to get to that next level. And I love the opportunities that we've been able to present to each other for our clients as well as for our businesses. So love that opportunity.
Thank you for that. So true. So um, I will start by asking you about, and I know we had put it out there, the American Dream TV. Is that still going on? And let's make sure we promote it. And how did that come about being? And so what is that? What does that look like? And where can we catch it? Because one, we want to support it, and un unfortunately, I haven't seen it, but I will.
Absolutely. No, not a problem. So it is actually, now we have it streaming on all major platforms. So you can find it on Apple TV, Roku, Prime Video. So it's on all those kind of videos. We've been on the Travel Channel. We've been on CW, all those kind of places. But we've really found a big connection with the American Dream TV, being able to stream it because of how many cable and cord cutters there are across the country. And this is a national TV show. So there's, I want to say somewhere about, I think the number is like 400 or 500 agents across the country that are part of the American Dream TV. And it's about bringing lifestyle and real estate together in one. And so each one of our segments brings something in that regard. So the last video that we did that will air, I believe, either later this month or in March, it's actually going to be about the Allen Americans. So we went and did one of their best games of the year, their blackout game against the Grizzlies. And we did a whole segment just getting to talk to the general manager, talking to one of the players, a couple of the Ice Angels, really getting to hang out with Biscuit, showing different aspects of that. And so I love that because that was one of the adventures that I got to take on early in my life, was starting the mascot program for them. And so this kind of got to bring it back full circle and see what's happened since that program started. And then we went and featured one of our listings that then sold. By the time that these air, sometimes the listings that we feature already sell. And so it's just about making sure that we have the most promotions possible. So it's another way to promote and market our listings, as well as market our individualities, and be able to promote the real estate and lifestyle of certain areas. I've been very lucky that I do work so many different areas in Dallas that I haven't had to repeat one yet. So we've done Plano, we've done McKinney, Frisco, we went down to Grapevine, and then now we've shot Allen. So now we're just always looking for the next place that we're going to go. There's a couple places in mind that we have, but we always try to tie it into a real estate listing that we have or something like that. And so perfect example, like Grapevine, I didn't have a listing at the time. So I just made the entire thing lifestyle, because at the time we did it, I wanted to feature the Christmas capital of the world. And so we did it while they were setting up Christmas. And then we went and took look at Chicken and Pickle, the new pickleball sensation that just hit. And so that aired actually in January is whenever that one launched. But it's a really fun atmosphere, a really fun activity that we're doing. But yeah, we've pushed away from cable TV for the most part because of the amount of streaming that we're getting. I want to say our January viewership was over 39 million across the country, interactions with over 40 million different computers and streaming successes. So it's a really fun activity that allows me to just kind of, again, promote other listings that we have, promote opportunities, and promote different areas in the DFW, because it is such a vast community that we want to make sure that we are welcoming to everybody, as always, and just show everybody what we have going on here in DFW.
Well, I'm sure it supports your brand, which also doesn't suck at all. Very briefly, just so they know, because I think most folks on here, I had, oh gosh, now I think it was about, I don't know, 16 years ago, I had a show on HGTV. So by the time we would shoot an episode and air, sometimes it was 4 months, sometimes it was 6 months. What's the gap between when you actually shoot and air an episode?
So it just depends, but like perfect example, we shot January 13th for the Allen show. I had to have it done by beginning of February, so just got that one wrapped up. But shot that one beginning of January 13th, and that one will air and be ready to go either end of this month or first part of March. Now that we're not trying to tie it into a specific show either, it also makes it a little bit easier that as soon as editing's all done and we get that that produced, then we're pushing it out. And we do a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So if you're following me on Instagram and social media and all those kind of things, then you'll see kind of some of the behind the scenes little snippets that we're tagging in there as well. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, you're I think when we met 7.5 years ago, obviously the landscape has changed. I think your business has changed, your team has changed. What does that look like, your team now?
So honestly, it's a fluid situation, as I like to say. Everything is a little bit fluid in this industry, and it's ever changing. Right now, we're looking at agents to bring on whenever they're producing, but they may not have that right motivation, or they have the motivation, but they just don't have that drive. We're looking at some of those things, but mainly we're looking at agents that are doing, a couple $1 million, but they really want to do more because they just aren't getting the training or the leadership in order to take them to that next level. And so like right now we have, I think I looked at it yesterday. I think we've got 5 agents right now. We've let a couple go just because they didn't have the drive that they wanted. They weren't producing the way they wanted to do, and they just didn't have that end goal that it takes to be a top performing agent in the industry. And that's what we're looking for is people that want to be the top drivers. And so right now we're at 5 agents, really sitting strong with those 5. We're pushing, and I am still producing. And so that's all part of it is I am the lead producer, and that's the goal is I always want to do this job. I love what I do. I got into this business for a reason, and that reason still has not changed. And so I think that's the biggest thing is just making sure that we have the right individuals that have the right mindset that are ready to crush it.
And Mark, tell them, because I think I remember the story. What were you doing before? And I think that I honestly think that has helped you in your real estate business.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you want me to go all the way back? So,
Just
on
hit it
one
briefly.
brisk summer morning, no, I'm just kidding. So before real estate, I was in a metal building manufacturing position. I was an inside sales rep for them. They really loved what I was doing, but I really felt like I had more to give. And so went home, talked to the wife, and we'd been talking about real estate for a couple of years, and finally I said, okay, you know what, let's do it. And within 6 weeks, I had all my classes taken, and a month later, I had my test taken, and I started going in real estate. But doing everything from like I said, I started mascot programs. I was a professional mascot for 8 years. I
That's where I
then
was
went in.
going.
There you go. Yeah,
There
okay.
you
I was like,
go.
I didn't know which route you wanted to go
There you
down,
go.
but yeah. So yeah, I was a professional mascot for 8 years and absolutely loved it. And while I was going through college, that's what I thought I was going to do,
Right.
and then realized that I at one point was going to get old and I could not move like I used to, and so started realizing it was time to start thinking of a different way. So yeah, so that was where that all started.
And wouldn't you agree that from the mascot to the sales of the metal building, all of that totaled his really helped strengthen you, build a foundation, create the Mark Bradford that we see today? Because I think that all the things that we did back in the day have helped us develop in who we are today.
100%, 100%. I mean, from so just I even got to do another plug for the American Cancer Society, and whenever I was with them as a community manager, building rapport, building relationships. Real estate is all about the relationships that you build, just like the relationship you and I have built. And that's where that all drove from the mascots, where I got to be exciting and entertaining, to the relationships that I had to drive and create into the sales aspect. I mean, all three of those careers that I had have built the person that you see today, where we're building the rapport, we're building the relationships, we're selling the properties, we're marketing, and we're entertaining with the American dream as well. So it's been a whole aspect of that to come full circle into one individual position now that I'm in.
I love that. Um, I don't see many new agents on today because I know a few of them are in sessions, but where today, 8 years in this business, what's I'm looking for a pillar. Are you like most that the majority of your business is, you might 8 years in have some past or repeat clients, but are the most coming from, your sphere of influence, or you got another source or two that right now is maybe a little healthier than it's been, or is creating real opportunities?
It's a little bit of both. We still do a lot of online stuff. We still promote a lot online, and get a lot of people that way because, I mean, honestly, it used to be, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I've only been doing this 8 years, but I have heard that back in the 90s and early 2000s, a lot of people would call their mom or call their family and say, "Hey, who did you use?" And it was a lot of that business. But nowadays, it is, I want to say, somewhere between 70 to 80% are finding their agent online first by either online reviews or social media or something like that. And then going back and saying, "Hey, okay, hey, this is who I'm going to use," so on and so forth. Um, and so for me, it's kind of doing a good mix. I do have a lot of past clients, and I hate using the word past because my clients are clients for life. This is what we do every day. And so I'm going to rephrase that and say, a lot of my clients or a lot of the people that I'm working with are clients or referrals from clients. We do have a lot of repeat clients that use us on multiple occasions, um, not only for one house, and then we help them buy that and then sell that and then buy another. It's, "Hey, I've got 7 properties that I now want you to help me offload," or, "Hey, I want to do one of these a year," or whatever it is. That's part of our business. But we are getting quite a few agent to agent referrals, and I love those. I love working with other agents. Again, it's like-minded individuals that are finding us through our reviews or through their peers in other areas that are saying, "Hey, call Mark. He's one of the best in this area," and we want to make sure that we're pushing that way. So my sphere, I consider my sphere part of the clients, and so that's the hard part too. Is when someone says, "Oh, hey, is this sphere of influence or past client?" I'm like, "Well, they're all clients. They're all friends. They're all people." So it's a big mixture there.
And I think from a verbiage standpoint, we're kind of redirecting that to they're not just, I always say friends slash clients. And so now, they're households that we're managing. And we're fortunate that we have so many of those. And we're kind of throwing them all in one bucket because I think today there's so much to that. It's not just helping people find a rental, sell a home, buy a home. Right now, I feel like I've even changed my title because I tell folks I'm a real estate wealth specialist is what I am. And right now I'm advising many of my people not to sell that home and go buy another one. I want you to keep that one and let's find a way that we can go afford this one and make that one an investment property. So and it's so interesting to see how I think our roles have changed and there's you and I both know there's so much more change to come in the coming years with, we won't get into all the other the negativity because I think we stay positive. And I can tell you the folks that are on this call, I think I know damn near everyone individually, they're all positive people. And we're not going to sit here and let the negativity impact us because we soar with eagles and that's what it's all about. So um, is there something that that you'd like for us to know about Mark Bradford that we don't know, or that you didn't put in your bullet points, or that I wasn't bold enough to ask you? So
Honestly, that's the hard part for me is I don't like to push myself in that regard. I don't do a lot of that. I don't do a ton of social media as far as like individuality parts. I love to answer questions.
yes,
And that's probably more so it. I'd love the opportunity. And for those that might have questions today, feel free to have them pop off and ask the questions. To me,
yeah,
that's more of the give and take there, more so than me just pushing something for myself.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm here as an open book. Y'all let me know what you have.
Well, and I think that's where the respect has come from because I didn't see that, but I saw the way that you were handling yourself and running your business, and I admired that. There's not a lot of promotion. I've seen more because of the show than I ever saw before, and I think you're comfortable in that role. And it's so funny because I feel like I'm having to step up my game. I'm not one who always shows himself walking through, a luxury property. That just hasn't always felt comfortable for me. For me, it's about trying to educate, and I think on my YouTube channel, that's my focus now is education. So again, we'll see how that works, but I know there's an opportunity, a growth opportunity there. So, Chris, if you'll monitor real brief, because again, Mark, I try to make sure we keep this to 20, 25 minutes. So if anybody's got something quickly that they're interested in, either, take yourself off mute. And if not, what time does your awards, is that at 11 or what time does that start?
So it actually started at 10:30, but I
Oh,
told
okay.
them I was like I gotta be on this call with Ben. Like
Okay.
he's asked for me, so we're gonna hit this up. So they
Perfect.
should be wrapping up at 11, but it's all good. I'm here whenever you need me.
Okay. Well, uh, Christina
I
is
consider I consider you a client, Ben. So we're gonna make sure we take care of our clients
there
first
it
before we
is.
talk
There it
about
is.
rewards.
And I so appreciate that, man. So let me make sure I don't have one more question. So, I don't think that I do. Let me ask you this though, I'm gonna say on your I'd say your online marketing or advertising, is there a target that you shoot for? Meaning, for me, I'm always looking at a minimum of 4 times return for my farming or other things I do. Is there a set standard that you shoot for, especially on the online stuff? Because I know
And
how
there's
expensive
always a
it
goal.
can be. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always a goal, but honestly, if I help one individual, I'm happy. If I help one family, I'm stoked.
Yeah.
It really just depends on what somebody's needing, and sometimes they may be in a difficult situation, and my information is the one that pops up. And if that's the only thing that happens, you know what? It was worth it because it helped somebody else. You say it all the time, and we see it across the board that helping individuals and helping people is what makes this business what it's worth. And
Amen.
so that to me is all the money in the world. It doesn't matter if I spend 10 times what I get back. Sometimes it's making that impact on an individual's life. Uh, that really sets it apart. We've helped a lot of clients here, especially over the last couple of months, get into houses and actually walk in with a ton of equity. And that to me is the more important thing, is making sure that they walk into a house that they're going to love, maybe something that they're willing to make some changes to, but something that they're going to really absolutely love. And it turns out to be one of the best things that they ever did. We walked in, we got a client into a house, fairly important individual. So it was a fairly large home, but their equity that they walked in from what they bought the house for to what it appraised at was $150,000 difference. I mean, you're talking about a whole nother house in some cases. But not only did we do that, but then we also got them another $40,000 towards closing costs to help with those things. And so we're talking about $190,000 in their pocket of equity and closing cost assistance that is not heard of very often, and we don't promote it. And that's the other thing too, is I don't push a lot of this stuff. I don't talk a lot about that. Especially online, because I like to keep people's stuff private. We've helped some. We do have an entertainment and sports side of my business individually, but we don't push it too often because we want to keep those people's stuff in individually and private, because we know how important it is for the privacy of people's protection.
And again, that doesn't surprise anybody that you're putting the client first. So, my brother, I appreciate your time and the energy and just pouring into us today. Again, Mark is here, and I think he's just right down the street. So
I am.
yes,
I am.
yes, you are. And so a lunch date is due. So let's make sure at some point in the next month or so that we put that together. So because it's time for us to break bread. So Mark, I appreciate you, my brother. Get over there to the event, walk in and make your presence felt. And so we appreciate you sharing today. And guys, I appreciate you. We're on next week, and then we've got family reunion, and we'll take a break because we'll be there not next Tuesday, but the following. So, Mark, if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out, my brother. I appreciate you.